I'm Hokey Joker.
Bedroom.
Green Lantern.
And welcome to Just Us Bros Podcast. Shh. Can you hear that? It's the sound of secrets, suspense, and superpowered intrigue. Welcome to Just Us Bros Podcast, where today we're delving into the enigmatic world of Invincible Season 2. In this season, the stakes are higher, the shadows darker, and the alliances more precarious than ever before. As we unravel the web of mysteries and untangle the threads of the superhero saga, prepare for a heart-pounding journey into the unknown. What secrets will be revealed? Whose trust will be shattered? And what catastrophic battles await our heroes? Join us as we whisper about the untold and explore the suspense that Invincible Season 2 promises to deliver. Keep your ears perked and your senses alert. This episode is going to keep you on the edge of your seat. Thank you, AI, for generating that speech for me.
It's like it watched the episode.
It watched the episode or read the cliff notes. So anyway, guys, we are talking about Invincible Season 2 premiere, and I'll throw it to GL and Badger. What's your opinions on it?
His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. Wait, that's all we can say.
Eminem.
For what? We're on Invincible Season 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a spoiler episode, right? Because
Yeah, I've seen
yes.
it. Yeah.
Okay, so honestly, when I first started this episode, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Because it seemed like it just jumped into Invincible was teaming with his father, and I was like, "Whoa, wait, what? What did I miss?" And he's fighting with Immortal, and then Omni-Man comes, saves the day, and we see that Earth is pretty much in a dystopian setting where Mark and his dad are like, "Hey, comply, or else. And if you try to stop me, just remember, I'm." And at first I was like, "What the hell is going on?" But then I realized, oh, maybe this is like an alternate universe thing, and it's what it turned out to be. And yeah, I enjoyed the first episode. I was a little confused in the beginning, but once I figured out what was going on, I was like, oh, I forgot how much I missed Invincible and was so ready for the next episode.
Also, every other word you hear.
Sorry, I'm trying to be hygienic.
Um,
What was
my
that on
impression
mine?
that every time you paused in the background, I could hear his washing machine or dryer. It sounds like dryer.
Oh,
Dryer,
okay,
yeah.
okay, gotcha.
This tumble, tumble, tumble. But no, I was same as Bat Drew. At first, I was like, okay, this is a dream or an alternate universe. The more they did it, when they showed Eve, I was like, okay, this is an alternate universe. Um, I feel like this episode was pretty much just dealing with the fallout of season one and the revelations and the big fight. Um, Not a whole lot of action happened, but enough to pretty much set up the villain for the, I guess, remainder of
Entire
the
series
season.
or season. Yeah.
Yep. Um, Also, side villain, probably at some point, Invincible's going to have to face himself in an alternate universe, maybe, or another version of his dad. Uh, who knows? Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a little slow paced, but again, it was enough action to kind of set up the future. Um, Makes sense that they got. I keep wanting to call him the Immortal. He's like Superman, but Vandal Savage. Um, but it makes sense that they got him to kind of be leader of the team. Of course,
Yeah.
he's hiding in the shadows like Batman. He's like, I don't trust you. Okay, but
Tell me, do you bleed, Mark?
I like the introduction of the new characters. Bad guy. I kept recognizing his voice. I was like, "Who is that? Who is that?" Finally, I looked, and it was Sterling K. Brown, and great actor, great voice actor. I'm actually shocked that they got an actor of that caliber to be on the show. I'm pleasantly shocked. But then also, what's his name? Bulletproof.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that's Jay Farrow, which I haven't heard anything out of him in a while. So that's good to see him on
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, professional Shaq impersonator. Well, I can like it's been a while since that first season came out. Yeah, that's a good one. But the first season, it's been a while since that came out. When did that come out? 21? I want to say it was
It's been a
21.
good 2 years or more.
Yeah, because I watched that Eve episode over the summer, so I didn't realize how much I had forgotten by then. But I remember when it opened, like Bat Drew said, I'm like, this isn't how it left off. But I forgot how brutal it is, and how after every fight scene, I'm like, how are they okay? How did they survive that? But I'm going to that.
It's invincible.
Yes, but going to that alternative dimension. I also think it's an alternative future because Eve and Robot look a lot older than what they are. So, and I was like, wait, how is Mark still young? Okay, Viltrumite DNA. But my biggest question about it is, where the hell did Doug come from? He just got a spine, at the end of season one. He's back there with Cecil.
And I feel
Where did
like
Bobby Hill come from?
I saw that. I was like, and they made a point in the recap to show that too, to show that his spine was done and the house exploded, and yet there he is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just gonna be like they have clones all the way around, just like they have those mechanical drone things. But Bobby Hill, Doug, that's it's not a minor character, but he's not a cog. So he's like right in the hey, I recognize him. Um, but yeah, I'm interested to see going forward what's going on with it.
And also another thing I liked about this episode was it was very subtle, and you didn't need to hear him blatantly say, like Mark blatantly say, that he's struggling with his I wouldn't call it humanity, but his values and how he's afraid of turning into his dad. They like that entire scene where he's doing his thing as a superhero but doesn't want to be seen doing his thing, like stopping those bad guys, getting rid of their car, stopping the Elephant Man Rhino impersonator, um wanting to jump in when the cops were fighting those other two dudes, that like you can see that he remembers those guys, and then like it flashes to him like he gets rage and aggression, and he's like, oh, but he's like, wait, no, I can't stop them like that, because like you can see in just that little bit of like his reaction that I don't want to turn into my dad. So that's also something I think that's going to be a big factor for season two, is Mark, like you said, struggling with himself and hopefully overcoming his fear of becoming his dad. Because I mean, like all of us, I mean, he looked up to his dad greatly the entire time he grew up, and then boom, that one big scene and event that changed the dynamic between him and his father. Like you can definitely tell that he's like, oh man, like where do I go from here? How do I either keep being a superhero or stop this altogether so I don't turn into something I don't want to be? And I just thought that was great in that little bit of
Yeah,
time too.
and there are some parallels because there was like the Justice League of that world while Omni Man was separate from it, and it's still going on in season two so far. Where, like you said, Mark's doing everything from the shadows. But um, is this episode getting you guys excited for the rest of the season? Because I know it's very hard where you're just like you waited all this time, and the first episode's like, I wanted more. Is it what you wanted? Is it what you expected?
Well, they got to set it up. I mean, if you go back and look at the first episode of season one, we thought for the entire episode that it was one thing, and then that final 5 minute end scene where Omni Man goes and kills the Justice League, whatever they're called. You went from 45 minutes of thinking the show was about this, and then there's last 5 minutes you're like, huh, now the show's about this. Like again, this wasn't as much on a cliffhanger, but it did set up the entire rest of the season. So no, I don't. I appreciate the storytelling.
And one thing that I remember about the Easter egg, because I'd never heard of Invincible until Green Lantern came to my place, and like I think it was the summer of 21. You're like, hey, have you heard of Invincible? You should watch it. And then I binged the whole thing in like the 2 days you were here. But I just remember every credit scene open with like the first one's clean and pristine, and then the second one, a little bit of blood. Third one, a little bit more blood. Fourth, more blood. And then now it's like just that continuation, which I appreciate the continuity of that. So just seeing that was like a fun little Easter egg that I remembered from the first season.
And I want to touch back on what Badger said, like him going through, really, he's going through like the stages of grief because, like he said, it's like his dad may as well be dead. I mean, he's that image, that version of his dad that he grew up with for 17, 18 years died in an instant once he found out the truth. So, I mean, that image of his dad is dead. And I think he's going through grief. I think he's going to struggle. He still wants to be a hero, but he doesn't want to end up like his dad. And it kind of like what you were talking about, the opening scene where he was saving people, doing the different rescue scenes. It's almost like he was just going through the motions, like because he has to. Um, and even his tone throughout the episode, like when he's talking to his girlfriend, he's like, yeah, I mean, you could just tell. And when he comes in with his mom, he's like, I want to cook dinner, I want to do it. Like he's just so depressed, and you can tell it, but he's still trying to move forward with life. I think that speaks a lot.
And yeah, also too, going back with the dynamic with him and his mom, like they're pretty much going through. It almost feels like like yes, like Omni Man passed, like the Omni Man they knew it's gone, but it's almost like he either died or they're growing up in a house divided where it's kind of like a almost like a divorce situation where dad's gone, you're here with me now. And he's like, I still love my dad, but I don't want to be with him. But here, let me become the man of the house, even though I don't really want to. That kind of stuff. That because that seemed like that was to me a kind of dynamic they were going for when he was interacting with her at home, and even for his mom. Like they showed that she's struggling with this too. Like where he was like, I love your dad, Mark, but when he was pretty much like, he loves me too, but like a pet. That you could tell that hurt her a lot. I mean, shit, that would hurt anybody to hear that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
and actually too another thing that I'm kind of seeing. It seems like the way the Guardians of the Globe is being set up to where Mark is now part of them again, but Immortal is not trusting him. It's kind of like almost the flip side of it seems like what would have been an origin story for the original Guardians of the Globe where Omni-Man was in Mark's position where he's in now. Is like, okay, you're part of us. You're working with us, but I don't know. I don't trust you. And I kind of feel like it's almost trying to tell us like retell that story again, but put Mark in Omni-Man's situation. And I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the season, Mark starts resenting the Guardians, especially Immortal, and maybe that's what pushes him across the edge into him becoming Omni-Man Junior. It looks like.
Um, so I know with a lot of like multiverse, different universes is always it's a trope in all of comic books. Do you think that this plot point is just going to be washed away and like sort of they're doing the same thing every other comic book movies or comic book TV shows are doing? You think it's too early for that? Do you think this is fits about right for the Invincible universe? What are you guys' opinions on that?
I mean,
For me,
it's
I think it was a little bit too early to trying to jump into the multiverse thing. Like even the showrunners in an interview I watched, they were like, "Well, yeah, we're doing the multiverse thing, but not like we're trying to jump on the bandwagon. We're just trying to catch up to where everyone's at." That kind of is jumping on the bandwagon. But I mean, I think even in the comics, like their multiverse saga type stuff, I don't think that was introduced as early as they're doing it in season 2 now. But I don't know, maybe it'll work out for something that they're planning. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I do think that it's too early to see, but I do think that maybe they're just introducing the multiverse dynamic now and it'll be a back burner thing. And going forward, we're going to be talking more about Mark's struggle with him becoming a team member and not wanting to become his father. And then boom, the multiverse thing will pop up again. But I don't know. We'll have to see more episodes and you really get into the season to find out.
with the I agree. I thought it was kind of early to do the multiverse thing too, but I'm invested in the story. Um, but with the guy, two things. One, what's his name? Angstrom, the guy that's going to be the main villain with the portal powers.
Yeah,
Um,
It's
yeah.
not.
With
That's what we're gonna call him because that's every main villain's name.
Angstrom with
But I
the
think
Rick
yeah,
and
you're
Morty
right.
portals. Kang, Kang. He reminded me of Kang, like
Hmm.
all the different
And all
versions
his
of
Kangs in the
himself.
machine.
Yeah, like that. To me, again, I haven't read the comics, but to me, that kind of drew off of Kang the Conqueror and what Marvel was setting up. Again, I have not read the comics, so it could be in the comics, but it seemed really similar. Again, I'm not hating on it. I'm totally invested in the story. But two, seems to be like OP now because he's got the knowledge of 1,000 versions of himself, so 1,000 different worlds.
yeah, that head. Uh,
He's
uh,
got the portal powers, but a fun what if or a bad what if Omni-Man from another universe like grabbed him and like made him collect all the other Omni-Men from all the other universes?
hmm.
Did you guys catch that or did I
Well,
freeze?
no, you did freeze a little bit, but
He never
it
freeze.
condensed it. Um,
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So if he got all the other Omni-Men from all the other universes, and I mean that would be just totally OP. But
yeah, and I was gonna say though, if he's getting the other Omni Man, I feel like Nolan has to be like the alpha dog. So he might not do that, but he might get other Viltrumites that he can like lead as opposed to other Omni Men throughout there. But uh, like I know it's very hard. I haven't read it either. I'm not sure about that. Drew, have you read Invincible?
I mean, Cliff Notes and some comic story and stuff on YouTube, but not really like sat down, grabbed comic and read it. No.
It's very hard to like not get spoilers with all these comics, like you said, comic historians, YouTube shorts, TikToks of like what really happened to it. Like, look at this video of Eve. Like that Eve looks different, and it's. I'm trying to avoid those, so I'm not spoiled for the story. But do you think that this is going to go a different direction from the? This happens all the time, where it's the comic book and the movie or TV show just go separate directions. Do you think this might take advantage of that, or do you think they're going to be staying step by
I
step
mean,
with the storylines.
already, already for season two in just one episode, they've already diverged. I'm not gonna say a lot, but they've already diverged from the comics. So they're kind of making it their own thing. Kind of like what I
Okay,
guess Walking Dead did too. Like it was a great show, great graphic novel series by itself, but they definitely took some liberties and they're not following comics to the T.
so longtime readers and viewers will be surprised on both ends.
Yes. Kind of like I was in The Walking Dead with some stuff, which I think they in the show they changed some things for the better. So maybe Invincible will
Well,
do the same.
and it's very similar. I'm just sidebar. They did the same thing with Scott Pilgrim versus the World. They were releasing the manga and the movie at the same time. Like the manga had reached this part, but they made the movie, so they're like, "Oh, where do we go? Pick your poison." So they went this way, and the manga went the other way. Now they're coming out with an animated series on Netflix soon, so I'm interested to see how that works. But I'm just saying that that happens with a lot of comic book properties. Um, so, I mean, it, it's getting kind of daunting though in today's world with all these TV shows and stuff coming out. Where would you rank it on the shows that are coming out that you want to watch? Like we just talked about The Boys, you got Loki, you got the Marvels coming out next week or sometime soon, and then you got Invincible. Where does this rank on the shows that you want to watch? Or Doom Patrol. I'm watching Doom Patrol. You guys probably aren't trying to watch the end of Doom Patrol, but where does that rank on this show rank on your watchability scale?
for me, it's number one. I could care less about those other shows. I'm gonna watch them because I like the genre, but all those other shows you mentioned, I mean, The Boys, The Boys would be a close number two, but
But we're talking
Invincible,
about Gen V here. Gen V here.
yeah. The of all the shows and movies that are coming out in the next year, um, aside from the Green Lantern HBO Max series, if it even comes out next year because of the writer's strike, Invincible was my number one. that I was looking forward to, and still am looking forward to.
Badger.
Peacemaker
Uh,
season 2 would be close second as well.
oh yeah,
We're
we need
talking about confirmed
another
shows that are
season.
coming out right now. Yeah,
It's
confirmed that we
confirmed.
know.
It just doesn't have a
Confirmed.
date.
I'm saying like
Well,
in this
shows that
point
are
in
out.
time. Yeah.
Well, shows that are out now that we're watching and talking about because of the way that season 2 for Loki is going so far. That is on my number one want to watch right now, with Invincible being its close second. Because I kind of feel a little bit confused and intrigued in season 2 so far for Loki, but I think they're gonna cap something big coming up in the end of the series, and I'm excited for it. Oh, I hope
Um.
you didn't hear that fart because that was a big one.
Well, I burped at the same time, so it's like it was landing on both times. Um.
Okay.
For me, honestly, I completely forgot Invincible was out until the other night when you guys, hey, do you want to do a podcast on Invincible season 2? I was like, oh, that is out, which that's a pleasant surprise. So now that's going to be on my it's number 2 for me, like a solid number 2. um, right now it's Loki just because there's one episode left. You want to see that conclusion. Um, Doom Patrol is 3. We just wrapped up The Boys, so that's no longer on the board. So it's definitely number 2 there. But I want to see how Loki finishes up. I'm investing into season 2, but Doom Patrol is one of those things that I watched, got into, and it's like, oh, okay, every week. But then we know what happened with DC, so now it's like I forgot what happened, but I'm just gonna watch it anyway. You don't know what the hell's going on, but you want to see it to conclusion. Sort of like how Titans was for me, but way more or less sensical. So I'm definitely looking forward to more of Invincible season 2.
They also announced, this is totally different subject, but season 4 of Superman and Lois
It's the last season.
that will end the CW verse completely. So
Oh,
The
all
Arrowverse.
of it.
all
Oh
of the
wow.
Arrowverse is what I heard. Yeah. So I'm hoping for another Arrow return, Flash return, maybe. Hopefully they ended on something big.
Freaking Legends, man. The Legends better
Legends,
be
yeah.
in there somehow. God.
I mean,
They
Legends
they,
left on a cliffhanger anyway. So
they got to get all the alumni in.
one last episode, one last
And then
crossover. Who
send
cares?
send them to a convention that's close by Virginia so we can all go.
Raleigh, I mean, or Richmond.
Or
Technically,
Richmond, yeah.
Richmond's closer.
But yeah,
The one thing that I feel like they had me every single time they did it, they're like, "You must really be invincible," and I'm waiting for it to come across the screen, and it never did until the very end. Like every time they did, it, I'm like, "They're gonna do it," and they didn't do it. I'm like, "Huh," and then they'd be like, "You're invincible," and it's like, "Oh."
Yeah,
so
to me too. When that happened, at every instance that happened, I was also thinking, huh, why didn't they do it this time? But when I was going back and rewatched it a second time, because the first time I was kind of distracted by Instagram reels and whatnot, I noticed that they did they kept doing the callback like, and don't forget, I'm and he'd actually say invincible. I think they were doing that in the alternate universe a lot. So that was kind of a subtle tell for the audience that we're not in the universe we're familiar with too. Okay, also, while I'm still thinking about this too, what Gio said something about if Omni-Man wanted to get with Homeboy, Big Brain, and pull all of the Omni-Mans from the alternate universes here to him. What if instead of all the Omni-Mans he wanted to pull, what if he pulled a Mark that was willing to be on his side into our universe that we're familiar with? How would Mark react to that? And how would Mark react to maybe if an Omni-Man and an Invincible came through that are on the same page? Would Nolan of our universe come back and team with his son to fight himself and his alternate son? That would be an interesting watch, I would think.
I I kind of see it heading towards that. I mean, I kind of see, especially the one universe with the Omni Man and the Invincible that were teamed up in the first couple of minutes. I can almost see them coming over to this universe. And I kind of wanted the same thing. I think Nolan would come, and even though Mark wouldn't want him he'd help anyways, and they'd have to work together. I mean, they even kind of alluded to that when they were doing the recap. It's like he had a heart at the very end where he's beating the crap out of Mark, and he's like, "What will you have? They'll be dead in 500 years. What will they have?" And he's like, "I'll have you." And then that moment, like, tugged on, is badass as he wants to be, and as bad as the guys he wants to be. Omni Man was like, "Huh, yes, you are my son, and yes, I will still be there." And that's what made him let up. So that to me lets me know that he's not as heartless as we think he is. I mean, he's still a bad guy, but he would still protect his son, I would think.
Well, GL, I feel like you have a little bit of insider knowledge with that because you've cosplayed as Omni-Man quite a few times, and you actually went viral on Tanichi777 on Instagram. Uh, there's an article on, what is it? I just remember it. I know we've talked about it on the podcast before on gamerrant.com about this cosplayer dressed up as Invincible, and you're highlighted in this article doing the Think Mark Think. So I just wanted to highlight that you love Invincible as far as enough to cosplay as him, the only Omni-Man that we saw at least that first convention. So if you guys want to go check out Tanichi777 and GL on what's your Instagram name again, GL?
The only Green Lantern.
The only Green Lantern. So please like, comment, and subscribe and get all of that in there too. But we love to show off our cosplays as well. I mean, you did it this past go around in Raleigh as well, right?
Yeah, boy. Actually, when I was watching this, I was like, huh, I need to cosplay as Invincible.
You're too big.
And then I can cosplay as Bulletproof. Their costumes are very similar too.
They were very similar. And Hokey Joker, you can be Rexplode. Because you kind of look like Jason Mantzoukas in real life anyways.
I'm assuming he's handsome. I'll take it.
He's very handsome.
All right, guys, but let me just say that think, viewers, think. Please like, comment, and subscribe because how else are you going to get our content? As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Hokey Joker.
I'm Bat Drew.
And I'm...
And we're...
Do it! Just do it! So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it! What are you waiting for? Do it! Just do it!